Building a Better Tomorrow. Good evening, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our annual State of the Region address, and for the very first time, hosted virtually. My name is Richard Wong, and on behalf of the Board of Directors, I have been honored to serve as the Chair of the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of for 2020 and your Master of Ceremonies for this evening. Please allow me to begin by acknowledging that we are on traditional territories in Alberta for Treaty 6, First Nations, the Métis Nation Region 4, and the many First Nations, Métis and Inuit, whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. This year, we welcome Mayor Rod Shaggis of Parkland County, Mayor Stuart of the City of Spruce Grove, and Mayor William Choi, Town of Stony Plain. As well, I would like to welcome the many elected officials, special guests, chamber members, and residents who are here in support of this very important event. A very warm welcome to Parkland County councilors, members of their staff and administration. A very warm welcome to the City of Spruce Grove, councilors, members of their staff and their administration as well. And also a very warm welcome to the Town of Stony Plain councilors, their staff, and administration. This gathering reminds me of an African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And today, you will witnessing collaborative leadership in action. And I'm really excited for today. The Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce would like to thank our 2021 Platinum sponsor, Thompson Construction Group. Your leadership and support allow us to serve as the voice of business across the tri-municipal region. Special recognition to our gold sponsors, BDC, Panda Rose Consulting Studios, Inc., RPB Industries Construction Group, and Tirecraft of Stony Plain. Such events as these are really not possible without the support of our sponsors. Today's gathering is even more important as we discuss the state of the region with an eye to the future. Before we begin with Mayor's address, I would like to introduce you to our newly elected Chamber Chair, Darcy Torium. Darcy is a local businessman, an experienced board member with a passion and desire for good governance. Darcy chaired the Governance Committee in its inaugural year, and I know he will be effective and a focused chair in this coming year. And now, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mayor Shaggis of Parkland County.
Thank you, Richard. On behalf of Parkland County Council and Administration, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight for the inaugural State of the Region address. I'm so pleased to be here and to have the opportunity to speak to you this evening. A few years ago, Parkland County initiated the amalgamation conversation between the Stony Plain and Spruce Grove Chambers of Commerce. We saw an incredible opportunity and benefits in having a stronger, unified voice representing the interests of the region's business community, so much so that we contributed funds to assist in that process. And after your first full year, a very successful year, congratulations. Now, under normal circumstances, we'd be gathered together to enjoy a meal and connect for thoughtful discussion. Obviously, due to the pandemic, that isn't possible, but I am grateful to have this opportunity to connect, even if it is virtually. Parkland County has had a very significant year in 2020. We successfully completed the annexation of lands to the City of Spruce Grove, and as of January 1st, those lands became part of the city. Unfortunately, that meant the loss of Jackie McQuaig as our Division 2 councillor. Jackie proudly served residents of her division and represented the interests of Parkland County for nearly 8 years. And on behalf of council, I would like to thank Jackie for her service and wish her well in the future. Another major event for Parkland County this year was the dissolution of the village of Wabman, which is now a hamlet within Parkland County. Our administration has been very busy working to ensure that that transition is as seamless as possible, and we're excited to welcome both the residents and businesses of Wabman to Parkland County's family. They are now part of One Parkland, powerfully connected. On the business development front, there's a very exciting new development coming to the Acheson industrial area. And while I can't provide any details tonight, there will be a formal announcement later this month. From good to bad, drainage issues continue to be a concern for county residents. And as we approach the spring thaw, I want everyone to know that both council and administration are committed to finding solutions for these issues. This year, we'll begin on a strategic document that will address stormwater management across Parkland County. We'll continue to navigate uncharted waters through this pandemic. And one thing is clear, this is a great region which has so much to be proud of. No doubt, these are challenging times, but the possibilities are endless. I can't think of a time in the past where the situation demanded strong leadership as it does now. Parkland County Council and administration will continue to work for you and with you, ensuring we come out of this stronger than when it started. Thank you very much and enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Mayor Chagas. One Parkland. With great pleasure, and now I would like to introduce Mayor Stuart Houston.
Yes, thank you very much, Richard, and hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here this evening representing the City of Spruce Grove at this year's State of the Region, along with my colleagues on City Council who are nicely watching us and have joined us on live stream. And thank you to the Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce, for organizing this event. This is a wonderful opportunity to join our regional partners and share accomplishments from last year, as well as a glimpse into our plans and priorities for 2021. You know, the Chamber is such a strong advocate for our regional business community, and we're certainly thankful for the support that you've provided to our members throughout the past year. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's missing the in-person events that you typically organize, but this virtual event is a wonderful example of how we can all adapt and find ways to stay connected. If last year taught us anything, it's that we can always find ways to be connected, even if we are physically apart, and that's important right now. I'd like to thank Mayor Chagas and Mayor Choi for our continued partnership with both Parkland County and the town of Stony Plain. You know, for many years, we've enjoyed very strong collaborative relationships with our neighbors that benefit the entire region. But now more than ever, I think it's more important for us to have a future-focused and forward-thinking approach as our communities work to recover from this pandemic. You know, we often say we're truly stronger together, and I look forward to continuing to work with our regional partners to find creative and collaborative ways to serve our residents. And thank you all for tuning in at home this evening, including our local chamber members. And I hope you find this event both informative and inspiring. You know, there's no question that this past year has been extremely challenging one for our residents and our businesses. 1 year ago today, not today, but 1 year ago, COVID-19 flipped our worlds upside down. And we did our best to respond to that situation that was changing day by day. Our City Council's top priority was and continues to be the health and safety of our community and our staff. It's also been encouraging and inspiring to watch how we as a community have come together. You know, I've heard so many heartwarming stories from across our city about people supporting each other and our local business community in particular. From getting curbside pickup at your favorite store to making porch deliveries for a neighbor in need. You know, these are some of the ways that we've helped one another, but our collective response has made me very proud of our community. We've demonstrated resiliency, compassion, and care, and we should all feel good about that. Now, as we continue to recover, we want to make sure we're setting our community up for success. How are we doing that? We are investing in our future with dedicated funding to look after the amenities we all use and enjoy, like our parks, playgrounds, and roads. For us, our City Council, great team that I work with, it's about striking the balance of saving for tomorrow while looking at the needs of today and taking care of our community. But I can tell you this, I'm very excited about what 2021 will bring. There are some big things on the horizon for our community, and as you'll learn about some of these later this evening, and some of these I can't even tell you about, and Mayor Chagas left a little tidbit there, and we have some good stuff coming as well that we will be announcing later on this year. And of course, I can't wait to see what our neighbors have planned throughout the rest of the region. And again, especially big shout out to the Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event, and to everyone this evening who's watching. You know what? We're a strong collaborative region, and together our future looks very bright. While we aren't quite through the pandemic, I can tell you this, I believe, and I think most of us feel it, there is light at the end of the tunnel. We've been making it through this together for a year, and we're going to continue to persevere with you working together with us in this region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Houston. Well said, future focused, forward thinking. And you also mentioned live stream. And for those of you watching us, thank you for joining us. If you would like, please use the hashtag SOT20R. Let me start over again. Hashtag SOTR2021. And our handle is GPR Chamber. Please send us a like, put your questions on there, and we're happy to receive them. Thank you again, Mayor Houston. And last but not least, Mayor William Choi, Town of Stony Plain. Mayor William Choi.
Thank you, Richard. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. Definitely a special thanks to the Chamber for finding a way to make sure that the show goes on. Today, enabled virtually, I'm joined by our Deputy Mayor, Bruce Loy, Councillors Judy Bennett, Councillors Linda Matties, Councillors Justin Laurie, Councillors Eric Meyer, and Councillors Harold Pledgeville. Well, you guys all see them. Even though this is a virtual format, I know they're with us virtually and with us in spirit as well. Let me have to say that definitely I am, and members of our council are disappointed that we're not able to be together, seated next to each other, to celebrate on some of the accomplishments that we've done over the last year. But I want to thank the Chamber for taking the appropriate measures to ensure that everyone is safe. Well, what can I say about 2020? By now, I think we're all a little bit tired of the word pandemic buzzwords that are flying around everywhere. It's no secret that last year came with some unique challenges and what seemed like a never-ending onslaught of disappointments. However, I believe that these trials have brought us closer together as a community. I am incredibly proud of the dedication and hard work of town staff, council, our local businesses, and residents. Despite some setbacks and bumps along the way, the town pushed forward and continued the work at achieving our strategic plan. Though physical distancing and health guidelines produced new barriers for us, collaboration and public participation remained at the heart of local decision-making. The town engaged our residents through various public events, such as online surveys, open houses, and social media campaigns. We worked alongside our neighbors on key projects, including the Accessible Transportation Service and the Edmonton Metropolitan Transit Services Commission. I'm also excited to share that our local owned transit service will be prepared to launch this May. So keep your eyes out on the roads for our new buses. As you can see, there's much to be excited about in the town of Stony Plain, but we're also faced with many difficult decisions. COVID-19 hit our economy hard, and even now, our region and province as a whole can still feel the ripple effects of the pandemic. As the months began to pass and the public health measures intensified, it became clear that our plans needed to be adjusted while we examined the impacts more closely. We established 2 Mayor's Task Force on COVID-19 to better prepare our community for both current and future challenges. The economic stream led by Councillor Meyer and the social stream led by Councillor Laurie were hard at work brainstorming of new programs and services aimed at assisting our community that were struggling in light of the pandemic. From business license rebates to tax and utility deferral programs to uplifting social media campaigns, we worked hard to keep pace in an uncertain environment. It is a long year for all of us, whether you're a public servant, a business owner, or a resident. I think it's safe to say that 2020 was quite a ride. If this year has taught us anything, it is that only by working together and showing compassion for our neighbors, we can grow and create more resilient communities. I can go on forever because I'm a mayor and I also have a mic. But lucky for you, the Chamber only gave me 3 minutes. And we'll also be playing our full 2020 Stony Plain in Review video later on. So grab some popcorn and let's enjoy the rest of tonight's program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Choi. Working together. And yes, you do have the mic. Each year, we ask that our municipalities provide a snapshot of their world in video. And they say a word that the world is worth 1,000. And so here's the words in their saying, please sit back, relax, have the popcorn, and celebrate some of the successes in Parkland County.
Since Parkland County's beginning, teamwork has been a common thread in how things get done. Originated in 1913, 4 townships came together to create the beginning of what we know today as Parkland County. With a landmass of over 2,400 square kilometers, Parkland County is host to approximately 16 municipalities and over 420 businesses that create billions of dollars in revenue. This emerging business destination is a quiet, rural community seated just outside of Edmonton's metropolitan area, offering opportunities for recreation, festivals, and a lot to explore. Canada's top-rated quality of life, coupled with Alberta's breathtaking views, affordable housing costs, and a warm, embracing culture, all make Parkland County a great place to live and work. But there's more to Parkland County than its charming quality of life. The county is growing, powerfully connected, and proactively shaping its economic future. The rise of remote work, a growing demand for more space and safety. Companies and talent are changing the way they think about where they live and work. With visionary leadership and a supportive community, Parkland County is where businesses, small and large, can thrive. Easy access to rail, highway, and air transportation makes this county globally connected. Within a 32-kilometer radius of Parkland, you will find 2 major intermodal rail facilities, a regional and international airport, as well as direct highway access. Thousands of kilometers of roads, rail lines, and airways connect Parkland's business community to local, national, and international destinations, increasing supply chain efficiency and bringing down operating costs. Both Canadian rail titans of industry, Canadian National (CN) and Canadian Pacific (CP), have a presence within the county. A CN main line runs directly through Parkland, providing many industrial sites with direct rail spurs, getting your goods where they need to be. Edmonton International is Canada's largest airport by land size and 5th largest by total passengers. Major Highway 43 runs directly through Parkland, serving as the primary route to the Greater North and Alaska, making this region a true gateway to the north. Highway 16 gives open access to the west coast ports of Prince Rupert and Vancouver via the connected rail and road system. These deep water ports allow Parkland to tap into economies around the world, most notably Asia, linking you to a world of opportunity. Atchison Industrial Park is the heart of enterprise in Parkland County. Spanning 7,000 acres of developed space, Atchison is home to a diverse array of companies, representing many industry sectors, from world-class manufacturing, transportation, and warehousing to advanced e-commerce and data centers. This enterprise ecosystem cultivates a collaborative and dynamic environment. Fueling Parkland County's industry is a young, vibrant workforce, trained by prominent local institutions. NAIT is the largest provider of apprenticeship training in all of Canada, and a world-leading source for skilled trades and manufacturing positions. The University of Alberta is a first-class university with concentrations in artificial intelligence, agriculture and environment, and life sciences. Industry is on the move. Companies and their employees are becoming more productive. Operations, connectivity, and business demands are becoming more complex. And this is what Parkland County is all about. As a partner to industry, Parkland County is driving business forward.
Welcome back. Thank you, Mayor Shaggis, Council, and all staff for your video. Pictures truly are worth 1,000 words, and I want to thank you for your video. And we're entering this next phase of our program, and it is the question and answer period. And before I begin, I'd like to say asking questions of our elected officials can help understand where they stand on issues. To support that aim, a group of chamber members representing a cross-section of our business community have developed a collection of questions that our moderator will use to ascertain where our mayors, their council, and their staff stand on important issues and goal setting to achieve the region's vision for a prosperous life. Safe, sustainable community. These questions will help hold officials accountable and for us to hear and articulate clear and actionable vision to meet the needs of all of us. It is my great pleasure to introduce our moderator for this evening, Mr. Ken Colby, President and CEO of the Alberta Chambers of Commerce. Ken Colby has been President of the CEO of the Alberta Chambers of Commerce since February of 2005. Over 16 years of speaking for Chambers of Commerce Federation, which represents more than 25,000 businesses in Alberta, Ken has developed Alberta's Chambers of Commerce profile as a strong, consistent voice for Alberta and Alberta businesses. Provincial, national, and international media regularly turn to the ACC for comment on business-related issues. Ken has a background in accounting, serving as a member of the Provincial Board of Certified General Accountants Association of Alberta and president in 1988 to 89. In recognition of his service, Ken was honored as one of the 100 CGAs who have made difference. He is recipient of the Queen's Golden Jubilee Citizenship Medal, recognized as one of Alberta's 50 most influential people in 2016 by Alberta Venture Magazine, and was recognized as Canadian Chamber of Commerce Executive of the Year in 2018. Please welcome Mr. Ken Colby.
Well, thanks, Richard, for that introduction. Good evening, and welcome to the 2021 State of the Region Address, brought to you by your Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm Ken Colby, President and CEO of the Alberta Chambers. Thank you to Sarah and her team and the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber for having me here tonight. It's my pleasure to be your moderator. Before we kick things off with our municipal guests, I'd also like to share a few comments about the work of the Alberta Chambers Network in your communities and across the province. Our network represents over 24,000 job creators, and as the voice for Alberta business, Alberta Chambers play a lead role connecting business to representatives from all orders of government. Chambers speak on behalf of business in every provincial and federal riding, and to local government in more than 120 communities in Alberta. Chambers are the 411 in their communities for business and the 911 when there's emergencies. We connect the dots on business issues and act as a trusted and reliable conduit of information from government to business on emerging and critical issues, COVID-19 impacts, and supports, for example. Most importantly, we speak on behalf of Chamber members and the business community at large, articulating the priorities of operators. Over the past year, our network's Alberta Perspectives Insight community has been incredibly helpful at understanding exactly what's on the mind of Alberta business. Engaging an online community of over 700 business leaders and growing throughout the province, Chambers have been able to gather near real-time business intelligence through Alberta Perspectives and to communicate that to government. Informing COVID-19 responses, the reduction of provincial and local regulatory barriers, and helping identify skills gaps, limiting growth for Alberta entrepreneurs. Most surveys take less than 1 minute to complete and provide a clear pulse of business on priority issues. It's so easy to show up, I thought to invite you all to join here today. And in a minute, you should see a QR code. All you have to do is take a picture of the QR code. Everybody's got a phone. Take a picture of the QR code on the screen with your phone. It will take you directly to the sign-up page for the Alberta Perspectives Insight community. Second, complete the sign-up questionnaire and you will receive an email notification to confirm your email address. Once you have confirmed, you'll then receive an invitation to complete a short survey on today's event. Altogether, it should take you about 3 minutes. Complete the survey on today's event and you will be entered to win one of two $50 Shop Local credits awarded on behalf of the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber. Join and you'll be among the first to see survey results, which we post in the Inside Community Hub. You'll see your voice and our advocacy in action with the related media posted in the Hub. We look forward to have you join the Alberta Perspectives community and along with your local chamber, and we look forward to you sharing your insights and taking your priorities to government. Now on to our event. We have a series of questions. We're going to start with question number 1, and the theme is regional economic growth. What is the regional economic growth plan that will encourage business development versus the development of new residential areas? And for the first comment, I'm going to go to Mayor Chagas.
Well, thank you, Ken. Well, economic development has been the top or one of the top strategic priorities for Council. And more importantly, our administration has developed effective plans and a tactical approach to facilitating growth. Our focus has been on creating employment and investment opportunities, not only for Parkland County, but the entire region. We recently embarked on a strategy and a plan for the expansion of a new and modern land development at Meridian Business Park, and this would target opportunities in high-growth commercial, industrial, and agricultural sectors. We did extend an invitation to Stony Plain and Spruce Grove to partner in that development and to realize non-residential tax revenues through a shared investment, shared benefit model. In addition to the Meridian Park, we're looking at opportunities along Highway 60 and in the Atchison industrial area. And we've worked with developers and have supported and advanced new projects with infrastructure investments. We're also diligent in providing developers assistance and support from a number of departments within the organization to ensure their projects proceed without delay. We do recognize that as we attract more business to the region, there will be a growing demand for residential development. And from our perspective, that growth must be supported and guided through a sustainability lens. We have to curb sprawl and increase densities because the traditional residential developments that we've seen in the region come at a cost, and it's subsidized by business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Over to Mayor Houston.
Yes, thank you very much, Ken. I think, from the city's perspective, it's important for us to encourage, both business and residential development. A healthy residential base supports both commercial and industrial growth, as well as provides a lot of local workforce. I've always been a strong believer that residential growth drives business, and new business drives more new business. So, that's important part of kind of an integrated model that we have. One of the things I'm really proud of in the region is the opportunity for us. We have a very strong economic development committee chaired by Councillor Aaron Stevenson, along with Dave Oldham and Michelle Rilke, have put together a very strong team that recently looked at a number of things. One of them is developing a reduction of red tape, and included in that is the development of industrial land strategy. And I have to say to the mayor of Parkland County and his council thank you for providing us additional lands, to grow our economic base on the south side of Highway 16A. And so that's part of it. But the other one for us, I think, is we're going to continually to actively support and participate with Edmonton Global in their mandate to attract new investment into the region and to develop business cases in priority sectors. We're proud of the fact in the last few years we've had record commercial growth in our region, and we're going to continue to promote Spruce Grove as an attractive commercial center and getting the message out there that's a great place to locate your business. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. And now we'll go to Mayor Choi.
Okay, thanks, Ken. So economic growth in our region has been a priority of Town of Stony Plain Council for quite a few years. The idea is to create an environment which we attract businesses through bylaws, through zoning, through planning. So currently, our staff are going through a review of the land use bylaw to make it easier for businesses and residents to move into the Town of Stony Plain. Also, we're also doing a housing study in 2021 here that will allow us to address the housing needs of a region so that we're ready for residents and businesses that come into our community. Right? So we're focused on creating a climate and an environment for people that we can assist the businesses and residents that come. As mentioned by Mayor Chagas and Mayor Houston, business drives residential growth. That is our goal, is to work together and to bring in businesses to our communities. From there, it'll drive on the residential growth that will support our communities. So thank you, Ken.
Thank you. Question number 2. The theme is on digital infrastructure. Is there a digital infrastructure investment plan created to support the needs of the businesses in the region? And I'm going to start this question out first with Mayor Houston.
Yes, thank you very much for that question, Ken. And the timing of this question is pretty good for Spruce Grove. We just recently developed a broadband strategy and action plan to improve internet access and connectivity to our commercial and industrial areas. Just at our last council meeting on Monday night, we put out a RFP to look at what that model could look like and how we could operate and expand a fiber ring within our city to better connect our businesses and our industrial parks. The city of Spruce Grove took advantage of a great program from the provincial government with our municipal stimulus dollars, and we invested $4.25 million of provincial dollars and added another $500,000 of our community dollars to, put close to $5 million into getting this kicked up and getting started, and that's going to happen this year. And we realize, and including at the Edmonton Metropolitan Region Board, that broadband and connectivity is the most important factor in the return on investment for those dollars will come back to us in many ways. So we're looking forward to driving that forward, and Spruce Grove is one of the few metropolitan region cities that have kicked that initiative into gear, but we're all talking more and more about it. Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Choi, over to you.
Yes, Ken. Yes, so digital infrastructure is very important. In the past, as we know, it used to be a nice to have. It is no longer a nice to have. It is a must have now, especially during this pandemic. And the way that we're evolving, the way we do business, the way we live, the way we play. Digital infrastructure is very, very important for the success of our region. So the town has been very diligent in this, to talking with regional developments, other businesses in the community, bringing and attracting some investment into the community. At our last strategic plan a couple of days ago, we talked about adding digital infrastructure into our strategic planning process. As many of you know, every community goes through a strategic plan, and some of the infrastructure projects that we have earmarked are coming to completion. With that, we're able to add more projects in there, and one of them is going to be digital infrastructure. As we know, that is how we're going to grow and build a region. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you. And rounding this question out, Mayor Chagas.
Well, thanks, Ken. Over the past decade, our residents and business communities have raised concerns about access to quality, affordable broadband services, and we have responded. Over the past 10 years, we've invested roughly $7 million in broadband, and we recognize high-speed, high-capacity broadband infrastructure as a critical piece of infrastructure, similar to roads, water, and wastewater. And certainly we've seen significant investments by the private sector into fiber optic networks in the larger cities and towns. And despite some improvements of rural connectivity over the past few years, the reality is there's still a digital divide between many urban and rural centers. So Parkland County recognizes there is a vacuum or void, both from the private sector and higher orders of government. And we're now investing into fiber optics, which will provide higher speed, higher capacity, enable better economic, social, health, and educational outcomes for our constituents. And in the very near future, we're going to be lighting up fiber in the Hamlet Event Whistle, and we've also submitted a grant application to the Federal Universal Broadband Fund, and if approved, we'll be looking at providing more fiber services to the western part of Parkland County, both for the residents and the businesses in that part of Parkland County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The next question, shifting gears a bit, regional support initiatives. How is the region going to how is the region going to adjust to a significant reduction in revenue, and how is that going to impact services? Mayor Choi, you're first up.
Okay. I think with what's happening, the region is going to have to do what we do best, and that is to work together and support each other, knowing that the dollars are limited and finite. As leaders, we need to continue to do more with less and get the best value out of our money. To this point, as you can see, the town of Swain Plain, the city of Spruce Grove, and Parkland County has signed an MOU on a regional plan. The findings out of that regional plan will allow us to set the plans and the framework for us to go further together, as mentioned earlier by Mr. Wong there. Okay, short term, we are going to work together to see how the region needs to be supported. This is still an economic downturn in the economy, so we need to be precise in where we spend our dollars. So working together and collaboration that's where the regional support initiatives are going to come in. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Chagas.
Well, Parkland County started making budget adjustments a couple of years ago with the accelerated phase out of coal-fired electricity generation, which resulted in a decrease to our tax revenues. So that coupled with the financial impacts from the pandemic has forced us to take additional actions to find both cost savings and efficiencies. And despite all that uncertainty, Parkland County remains in a strong financial position and is committed to maintaining our existing service levels. And we've taken a lot of steps to support residents and businesses by investing in the community, and that includes investing in major infrastructure projects to foster job creation within the region, working collaboratively with industry to accelerate the development in the Acheson Industrial Park, and implementing priority-based budgeting to ensure that resources are allocated in the most efficient manner. We've also utilized very responsibly our restricted surplus funds to smooth that tax rate adjustments and maintaining service levels while we promote development within the region. So we do realize that the business community has been impacted by the downturn, and we're certainly committed to creating the conditions and establishing a framework to support business in the region. Thanks, Ken.
Mayor Houston.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Ken. You know, in 2020, our city council administration really stepped up and did some things to provide financial relief for residents and businesses. Some of these measures included a tax deferral and utility penalty deferral program. We also, foregoing a 3.9% tax increase that we had previously approved in 2020 budget. And we also delayed the implementation of a stormwater management that was planned in April. So we did some of these measures, but some of those measures affected our revenue streams, which which we've had a really close review on. And our current financial situation means that there's less revenue coming in, to the city from grants, from development fees and taxes. And we're recognizing now that there's less funding coming in from the provincial government, and including that there are some signs that the economy is going to continue to slow over the next few years. However, what we've done in the last year, we've had a really close look. We call it a reframe Spruce Grove, and we're shifting from a strategy of growth and expansion to more of a mindset of ensuring our existing resources continue to serve our community very well over the coming years. But the best part of it all is we just recently completed our strategic plan with our administration that did a fantastic job with our council that are looking at some incredible opportunities for our city to continue to grow and continue to provide the services with a fully funded $298 million 10-year capital plan. So that's significant for us as a city. We're going to do a lot of things with that money. And we're building on the financial resources to fund future infrastructure needs and continue to be responsible to community needs. But I guess the big thing for us is based on our projections, we're in good financial position, and we're going to continue to provide great services to our citizens.
Thank you, Mayor. Question number 4 is on the theme of regional consistency. How do the municipalities plan to streamline the region's building codes, business licenses, and other process standards to reach the region consistently. And Mayor Chagas, you're the lead on this one.
Well, thank you, Ken. Well, I think harmonizing standards and processes across the region is a bit more challenging in practice than theory. That said, the 3 municipalities have committed to explore all options through the work that's being undertaken with the development of the regional plan that Mayor Choi had referenced earlier. But to address the specific items that you have identified, a number of years ago, Parkland County created a new business unit within our organization, bringing safety codes in-house. And we wanted to provide an enhanced level of service, quicker turnaround times for developers and builders. And we did have a conversation with Stony Plain and Spruce Grove at that time, who chose not to partner with us. But certainly, as I said, that's open for discussion. In 2019, we eliminated the requirement for a business license, moving to an approval to operate program. And businesses in Parkland County no longer need a business license, and nor did they have to pay that business license fee. As far as processes, Parkland County has and continues to invest heavily in software applications to help streamline and track municipal operations. And many of those will affect businesses in a positive way. So the county is in the process of selecting a vendor to transition planning and development services to an electronic platform, which will result in increased transparency, accountability, and efficiency. And we think that will result in reduced turnaround times in the range of 10 to 15%. And we expect that system to be in place by mid-2022. Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Choi.
Yes. Thank you, Ken. So yes, our staff works closely all the time with our local businesses and in the industry to see where we can understand where the barriers are and identify areas of support. I think it's very important that the 3 municipalities work closely together to align those systems so that if a developer comes to Stony Plain or Spruce Grove or Parkland County, we have very similar requirements. So it's not like chasing after each municipality trying to figure out what the town of Stony Plain needs versus what the city of Spruce Grove needs, what Parkland County needs. So again, that comes out of the conversations that we're having in terms of the regional plan. We know that we need to work together, and that's the only way that we're going to attract businesses and growth to our region, is that we reduce the amount of red tape, reduce the amount of kind of differences between the 3 municipalities, and work together to create an environment that is attractive for all businesses into our communities. So again, our staff are working and going through our land use bylaw to reduce any red tape that they can find. So if any of the businesses or builders in the communities that have noticed any, please let our staff know, and then we're more than happy to address them and work with our regional partners to make sure that we're all aligned as in one powerfully connected Parkland, Stony Plain, and Spruce Grove.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Houston.
Yes, thanks very much. And we continue to collaborate with our regional partners wherever possible. I think Mayor Choi recently spoke earlier on this evening about the details of our tri-municipal regional plan, which focuses on key sectors, many of those which include land use planning. And with land use planning comes a lot of technical stuff on the work that needs to be done for business and such. The regional plan is going to guide economic development and land use for us. And it's going to create a better opportunity for sustainability across the region. And the best part about it is we're going to look at the best interests of all communities that are in mind. The result will be a responsible stewardship of financial, environmental, and human resources that are going to create beneficial and sustainable growth for the entire municipal region. I appreciate Mayor Chagas' invitation a few years back to join us on an integrated computer software program, but sometimes when you're involved with these contracts, the complexity of doing that wasn't necessarily possible at the time, but we're certainly open to those conversations going forward. I think the best part for us is we started the process. We have a tri-municipal business license that we now offer in our communities, and you can do seamless business licensing throughout the region with that business license. And with that, some of the things, as Mayor Chagas had indicated, looking to streamline our business models. And this year we are just implementing a new computer software program that's going to help our business community to streamline their application process. That's called CityView. And that's kicking off this year, and hopefully we can share that information about how that works. But we certainly want to work together in the region to, to promote and streamline business operations and licensing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, question number 5. This is the last question in this segment. It's on tourism. What short-term plans are in place to encourage local tourist activity? Mayor Choi, you're first up.
Okay, thank you, Ken. And definitely with COVID-19, there's a lot of uncertainty. So tourism has definitely been down this past year, but we try to adjust those things. We've adjusted some of our local events like Farmers Days, Light Up, summer sessions, just to a virtual format, to a safe format where people can still participate and feel like they're still part of the community. Looking into the future, we have a tourism master plan that our staff have been starting to unfold and bringing initiatives to council to realize that we need to attract the daycations, the people that want to stay in the region within an hour's drive to be able to experience something new. Stony Plain has a lot to offer in terms of tourism and culture. Everything spanning from our historical murals to our beautiful downtown. Those are the things that we in Town Stony Plain will be focusing on in terms of tourism for the next little while, short term, to bring business back to our community. Also, in 2021, we'll be focusing on a COVID-friendly destination guide. It's a guide that we publish every year, just to let people know what they can do in Town Stony Plain, where they can shop, where they can go see attractions. So now we're going to do a 2021 that's a COVID-friendly destination guide. So hopefully that helps and brings some local tourists back into the community over the next year. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you. Mayor Houston.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. And, we're going to continue to work with our regional partners with Stony Plain and Parkland County and the Chamber to promote tourism experiences and provide visitor information services in the tri-municipal region. I think the big one, if you want to look at the Alberta government has identified tourism as a priority sector, and there's all kinds of growth opportunities in the province. I think the tourism industry in Alberta is about a $5.6 billion industry, and that's significant. But by working together in the region, we're all in a good position to attract visitors that are going to enjoy the many amenities and services that we have to offer. One of the examples of tangible plans for us is to work to increase our sport tourism within Spruce Grove. Spruce Grove is very well positioned with a number of incredible amenities that we've invested in, like Fuhr Sports Park, the Border Paving Athletic Center, the Henry Singer Ballpark, and a number of other ones. But the big one for us coming is the Spruce Grove Metro Ballpark, and that's going to be in construction in either 2022 or 2023 opening, and it's going to draw thousands of visitors to our region and to Spruce Grove. And for baseball fans, it's pretty exciting to have a whole bunch of this and many other entertaining events. So we're looking forward to being able to draw and attract people into our community.
Great, thank you. And Mayor Chagas, you get the last words in this segment.
Well, thank you, Ken. Well, our economic diversification staff have been working with the Chamber to promote tourism initiatives in the region, and our focus has been on those day tourism destinations like Chicago Lake and Wadman Lake, as well as others, and certainly during the pandemic, ensuring that they're operating safely to allow visitors from the region to enjoy the sites. And Parkland County is also exploring opportunities for future destination and tourism types of development in the region. So we do recognize that tourism is a cog in the local and regional economy, and it's one of the many sectors that supports the local economy. So our focus and strategy is to create a framework and the conditions for all industries to be successful, whether it's tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, small entrepreneurial enterprises, or large multinationals. And we're going to continue to look at ways and means to support all businesses, and updating our land use bylaws to create those conditions is certainly one of the ways that we're going to be doing that. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you, Ken. Very encouraging to hear. What I heard is a reduction of red tape, shared benefit model, record commercial growth. I hear daycation, so something that's a little near and dear to my heart. Broadband digital infrastructure investment, shifting mindset to serving the community, harmonization of regional planning. All sounds fantastic. So that just concludes the first half of our first 5 questions. So thank you, Ken. Looking forward to the second set of questions. And to change up the pace, sit back, relax, and let us celebrate the city of Spruce Grove through a short video of a glimpse into their world.
Hello everyone, I'm Stuart Houston, the Mayor of the City of Spruce Grove. Without question, 2020 was a year unlike our community has ever seen before. And while there were certainly challenges, I am so proud of how we collectively responded to COVID-19 and the tremendous impact it had on our residents, businesses, and our entire region. When I look back on the last year, it's really not the hardships that stood out. It's the creativity, the resiliency, and the community spirit that I've seen within our city's operations and throughout our entire community. I know it wasn't easy as we responded to an ever-changing situation that is life in a pandemic, but we've made it this far, and there is much to celebrate and look forward to in the new year ahead. Our city has consistently enjoyed healthy growth, and last year was no exception. We welcome new families and businesses to Spruce Grove, continuing to grow together even during these challenging times. The city issued 700 building permits in 2020, which is a 3.8% increase over 2019. We also welcomed a number of new businesses, commercial development, and expansion throughout Spruce Grove last year, which shows how much people believe in and support our local economy. One project that has received quite a bit of attention is the new Spruce Grove Metro Ballpark, which we anticipate will be located on the east edge of Spruce Grove near Pioneer Road. We're excited about this private development that will result in a state-of-the-art facility providing a unique living and entertainment experience for our entire community. Last year, City Council made a decision to cancel the previously approved tax increases for the year, which resulted in a whopping $1.6 million in total savings for our taxpayers. And we provided options to defer utility and tax payments as well. When in-person interactions were limited, we found new ways to serve our community through online services, programs, and supports. And although we weren't able to gather to some of our annual events, we got creative and we found ways to celebrate together virtually.
Speaking of connecting with our community, I'd like to recognize the work of the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce that's been helping our businesses during this time. This organization provides a strong and unified voice for our regional business community, and their work is more important now than ever. We have been proud partners of the Chamber of Commerce for many years, and we appreciate everything that they do and everything that they will continue to do for our community.
Another way we're supporting our local business is through our City Center redevelopment plan, which Council approved last year. This plan will help guide the redevelopment and revitalization of the City Center, which is a very exciting project for the community. I'd also like to recognize and thank the City Center Business Association for their ongoing work to make this part of Spruce Grove an inviting destination.
The pandemic has taught us many things, and at the top of that list is the value of supporting our local businesses. I'm proud of the way our residents rallied behind our business community, whether it was ordering takeout, doing curbside pickup, or buying a gift card to use later. We also know this was an extremely difficult year for many businesses, and the reality is that some had to close their doors. As we move forward, let's continue to do what we can to support our local economy, which is so important to our city.
Our two local school boards, Parkland School Division and Evergreen Catholic School Division, operate more than a dozen schools combined and offer quality educational opportunities for families and students. We want to thank all of our educators and support staff in Spruce Grove for your tremendous work during this challenging time. You have adapted to new rules and regulations while keeping the education and safety of your students at the heart of everything you do.
We work hard to provide essential services to our residents like Spruce Grove Transit. Spruce Grove has joined 8 neighboring municipalities, including Stony Plain, St. Albert, and Edmonton, as a founding partner of the Edmonton Metropolitan Transit Services Commission, which is a collaborative effort to create an accessible and integrated regional transit program. We also continue to provide both local and commuter transit services, providing options for people to get both to work and or to go shopping.
Last fall, we celebrated the completed renovation and expansion of our new protective services facility with a traditional hose uncoupling ceremony. This new $23.6 million facility has undergone a significant transformation that represents our continued commitment to keeping Spruce Grove residents safe. Now home to Spruce Grove Enforcement Services and Fire Services, this facility features administrative and training spaces, equipment bays with room for 18 emergency vehicles, and a 3-story training tower.
Hey, we also have some exciting new projects coming up this year. This includes the implementation of our new fiber optic broadband strategy. And you know what? This is key to increasing our connectivity and the competitiveness in the tech-based industry. Exciting stuff. Work will continue this year as well on the final revitalization of our city center as we take steps to make this a more welcoming and accessible space. We continue to participate in regional conversations with our great friends in Stony Plain and Parkland County, where we explore opportunities to be stronger together. This also extends to the Edmonton Metropolitan Region Board and Edmonton Global, where we work together strategically to plan and manage the growth of the region and our economy. I have to say, I'm really excited about the developments on the horizon for our city as we embrace a future-focused, forward-thinking approach that will set us up for success both now and in the future. You know, there's no question that last year was challenging, but I think we can all agree there's much to be proud of. As a community, we came together to support one another during a truly unprecedented time. Let's remember there is light at the end of this tunnel and remind ourselves that our future is bright. And I know that we're all committed to building this great city together, and I'm excited about what the year ahead will bring. So from all of us on our city council, let's continue to take care of each other and
Thank you.
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 Hi, I'm Pauline Commission from LaBerge Engraving. Been in business for 43 years, and we're the place to come for gifts that have meaning. The glass engraving, so either we can do leather with that laser now, we can do fabrics, we can do wood, lots of wood. I always, when people are leaving the store, I'm like, if there's any problems, let us know. You know, we'll make it right. So bring in your project. We'd be happy to help you out. We treasure everything that comes into us and treat it like it's our own. Whether it's something that's temporary or something that's going to become an heirloom in your family. We are at Unit 25, 100 King Street in Grove Plaza by the Harveys and Mary Browns, and we are the place for the gift that has meaning.
And welcome back. It's companies and small businesses, they are the lifeblood of our economy. And businesses like LaBerge Engraving is a prime example. So thank you for that. And also thank you, Mayor Houston and your council members and all the staff for your wonderful video. So now let's move over and Ken. So Ken, for the final question and answer session, over to you, Ken.
And mayors, we're back. Question number 6. The theme is Indigenous relationships. How are municipalities encouraging and supporting Indigenous opportunities throughout the region to create more diverse and empowered communities? And Mayor Houston, I'll go to you first.
Yes, thank you, Ken. I can say that all 3 municipalities are currently looking for opportunities where we can collectively work towards reconciliation. And I really appreciate Mayor Chagas. He's taken a real strong leadership in that in the region, and reminds us about the importance of that from time to time. And I just wanted to recognize and appreciate his efforts in doing that. But within our 2021 and 2023 corporate plan, we included a new what's called Community Inclusion Initiative. It was previously called the New Beginnings Program. And this initiative sought to create a culture that supports and integrates equity, diversity, and inclusion practice into our city's daily operations to help people make people feel more welcome. And I got to give a shout out to our city council. I'm working with a great city council that looks at inclusion and diversity, very strongly. And, we've supported a number of initiatives in our city through, conversations with the council to do just that. But this year, we'll focus on internal changes within our city operations, specifically around staff training and education. And we're looking forward to working in our community to create, a more equitable, diverse, and inclusive region through this initiative. But more specific to Indigenous people, we are active members of the Treaty Relationship Renewal Network, which aims to build stronger relationships with our First Nations, Métis, and Inuit community. And we really take that seriously, and heartfelt effort by our city to continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Chagas?
Thanks, Ken. Well, I guess first and foremost, Parkland County has had a number of joint council meetings with Enoch Cree Nation and Paul First Nation going back at least 10 years. And we've partnered with Paul and Enoch on fire service agreements, providing fire training, and those have been longstanding as well. Through the West Interlake District Water Commission, which Parkland County is a member, safe potable water has been brought to Paul First Nation, Alexis Nakota Sioux Nation, and soon to Alexander First Nation. And we've also advocated to the provincial government for a couple of years to make Paul First Nation and Alexis Nakota Sioux Nation commission members rather than simply customers. And now they are voting members of the commission. So that was a huge achievement. Through our library board, library services were implemented and provided to Paul First Nation. In 2017, Parkland County partnered with Enoch, enabling 911 emergency services to be provided to the nation. In May of last year, we executed an MOU with Enoch Cree Nation. And the purpose of that was to establish and maintain a cooperative government-to-government relationship in the spirit of reconciliation. And the goals and objectives include working on matters of economic, social, and cultural prosperity and development. And undoubtedly, there's a lot more that we can do. And we certainly look forward to exploring those opportunities with our regional partners, the public and private sector, as well with the Chamber. And I commend the Chamber for having that as one of their priorities as we move forward. Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Choi?
Yes, thank you. So Indigenous relations has been the focus of the town of Swain Plain for quite a few years. We fly the Treaty 6 flag here at the office. And we also have a cultural roundtable, which has an Indigenous representative that works within the town of Swain Plain to profile Indigenous community and some of the culture and the heritage where it's possible. Right. We also have Indigenous art. Right now we have it at the Pavilion, and will be installed at the new library downtown Swain Plain. So again, we're focusing on building better relationships with Enoch Cree Nation and Paul First Nation. The town of Swain Plain actually also has Indigenous culture and arts that are embedded through our arts, culture, and heritage master plan. So again, watch for those to come unfold and come to light within the town of Swain Plain. The town also partners with the Indigenous Youth Program. Again, that's a program where we try to connect and teach people with the elders within our communities. Right. We also have a huge engagement of the Indigenous population during our culture days. We have a huge setup for them to come, to visit, to cook bannock, and just to hear some oral history of the Indigenous people around the community. And also, we're also working on a friendship center with a couple members of the Paul First Nation elders. There's been a desire and a dream of one of the elders for quite a few years now. So again, continue the conversation and getting to understand each other and where each other comes from, so that we can move on and continue to build that strong relationship between our Indigenous communities.
Great, thank you. Question number 7. The theme is crime and disruption. What can you do to reduce the amount of crime in industrial areas of the greater region? And I'm going to start off with Mayor Choi first.
Okay, thank you. Yes, definitely with the economic downturn, crime has increased, and we've seen that. So we've increased our community peace officers, civilians in patrols, especially around the industrial areas. So in 2020, our enforcement has had 38 instances in the North Business Park, 58 in the South Business Park, and 16 in the Umback Business Park. So again, taking a more active role in providing patrols to make sure that we deter theft and crime out in the North Business Park area and the South Business Park area. And again, we work with the RCMP. They come and present to us on a quarterly basis, and we raise the issue with RCMP as well to make sure that they're aware of it and anything that they can do to help us. One of the biggest suggestions from the RCMP and even from our peace officer is to report everything that happens. The more data that is gathered, the easier it is for us to pinpoint and rectify and solve the problems. Together, the City of Spruce Grove and the Town of Stony Plain, we have partnered for many years to have a criminal analyst, I believe that's what the official title is at the RCMP. So that individual goes there and kind of reads through all the reports and try to ties all the lines together to figure out who, what, and where and when these individuals will strike. And it makes it very easy for RCMP to track them down and arrest them. But we do need everyone's help to report every instance so that we can actually build a good database so that our crime analysts can provide the good reports to our RCMP. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Chagas?
Thanks, Ken. Well, similar to the Town of Stony Plain, our peace officers do carry a high visibility patrols in the Atchison Business Park. And in 2020, there was approximately 1,400 patrols in the Atchison Industrial Park. The Enforcement Services Department also presented the Crime Prevention through Environmental Design program to the Atchison Business Association. And that's a free service offered by our peace officers where they'll conduct an assessment of the business facility and location and offer suggestions to deter criminal activity. But, to date, we haven't received any requests. There's also the RCMP sharing of information with Parkland County, and we post that on our website, and that forms the basis of our active patrols as well. The City of Edmonton and our enforcement services have entered into an agreement where EPS shares intelligence on criminal activity that might be occurring in and around the Atchison Industrial Park. And finally, our enforcement services are looking to broaden the Crime Watch group membership throughout Parkland County by incorporating the Lightcatch app. And that app is used by residents and the public at large to report criminal activity or suspicious activity in different geographical areas across Parkland County. Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Houston, over to you.
Yeah, just before I get into the tactics and the steps we've taken, I just want to share a bit of a statistic that we just recently received from an RCMP where we get our 6-month report. But within Spruce Grove, our crime rates are now down 25% over the last few years. And, I'm really impressed with that number. When you take into account our population growth over about the same time frame, it's even more impressive that our rates have consistently declined on crime. One of the things we've been doing steadily is increasing our enhanced policing budget so that we can have RCMP do targeted work. And that means our city council and our administration is providing the RCMP enhanced policing dollars to do that targeted work. And we believe that this brings, far greater results than just doing random patrols. And that's actually working quite well. Part of this targeted work has included the industrial areas. There's no question. And you know what? They've seen great results in identifying and reducing crime by once in a while, they do what's called the roundup of prolific offenders. And there's a number of prolific offenders that operate within Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, and Parkland. And a number of these people aren't from even within our city and region, but they're from outside. And the RCMP are doing a great job with that. And our statistics are showing that our crime rates are declining. And we're really happy with the work that the RCMP are doing with that on that file. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 8 is on the theme of COVID-19 response. During the past 11 months during the COVID-19 pandemic, what tangible steps did each of your municipalities take to support local businesses? And I'm going to start off with Mayor Chagas first.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Well, like most municipalities across Alberta, Parkland County did defer the tax penalty deadline to provide additional time for businesses to remit property tax payments. But we're not in a position to provide direct financial support to business. Our approach is to create a business-friendly environment and keep taxes low. And so we've made significant operational adjustments and continue to find efficiencies, red tape reduction, including streamlining planning and development processes continues to be a priority, as does our focus on customer service. The harsh reality is municipalities, like businesses, have been impacted financially by the pandemic, and we have additional pressures and constraints as well. Most significant are the new RCMP costs, which for Parkland County equates to roughly a 2% tax increase. A few days ago, Parkland County received the 2021 requisition from the Meridian Foundation totaling nearly $1.7 million. That's close to a 3% tax hit. We've also received formal funding requests, as well as being informed by some of the urban municipalities of their plans to build recreation facilities in the near future. Collectively, that price tag is over $100 million. And while those contributions being requested from Parkland County isn't known at this time, obviously we, as in our taxpayers, may be facing some unpalatable tax hikes in the future, but we're going to work with all of our partners to ensure that our businesses remain competitive and viable. Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Houston?
Yeah, thanks, Ken. I have to say that we've worked really closely with the Chamber and our City Centre Business Association and the entire business community to support them in accessing the various federal and provincial support programs. So we've given them lots of information behind the scenes to assist them in doing that. I'm especially proud of a number of Shop Local campaigns that we supported throughout the year. But we also provided deferrals of our property tax, utility payments, and we relaxed regulations for outdoor patios and allowed a relaxation of our business signage programs to allow them to show people that they were open for business. We're continuing to monitor the health of our business community, and you know what, we're really excited and optimistic right now that they're on the road to recovery. I think there's been a lot of challenges for them, but I think for the work that we've done, I think we've tried to assist them the best we can, and we hope that the recovery is just around the corner, and I believe it is.
Thank you. Mayor Choi?
Okay. Thanks, Ken. Unfortunately, there's still no playbook on COVID-19. And as municipalities, we need to be able to focus and kind of change quickly to support our businesses when we can. So for last year, in 2020, we had a business license rebate, which 98 businesses took us up on. So we just rebated them 50% of the business license to help in assist them. We've also had the tax and utility deferral program as well that assisted residents and businesses that can defer their taxes and their utilities for a few months. And there was no interest. All the interest was waived in that time as well. So that hopefully that allowed them the opportunity to kind of catch their breath. We've also done a Shop Local video in partnership with the Parkland Regional Chamber, so thank you very much for that. And definitely emphasize on keeping dollars local and supporting our communities within the Tri-Region. Every dollar that is spent here, $7 is kind of generated and spent within the region again. So keep those dollars in. That's what we can try to do. And again, in 2021, Council will be looking at a tax deferral program again for businesses and our residents to hopefully that we can assist them in 2021 because we know we're not quite out of the woods yet with the global pandemic. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you. Next question is also on COVID-19 response. Did you or any of your council members take a reduction in remuneration or fees as a symbolic gesture of support for individuals and businesses who were suffering hardships? And if not, why not? And do you plan to do so in the future? And I'm going to start off with Mayor Houston on this one.
Yes, Ken, thank you very much for the question. And, it's a good question. I think our city council responded very well, and I'm really proud of the position that we took. In 2020, I think it was April or May, We rolled our wages back to our 2019 levels from our 2020 levels. So we took a pay cut, and we also returned a significant amount of our expense accounts back to the city and put it back into our general revenues. And then again in 2021, we had an anticipated 3% increase coming as part of the remuneration committee dialogue that we'd had, and we froze our wages in 2021 back to the 2019 levels. And so I'm proud of our council for doing that. And you know what? It wasn't really a really hard decision for us to make. We didn't feel it was right that so many people in our community were struggling, and that we didn't do anything ourselves. But our city administration as well, they took a decrease to our total remuneration, and no cost of living increase or regular salary adjustments to our staff in 2021 as well. And the other one that we did is we also committed to having no net new positions created within the city, with the exception of some of our critical services. So proud of the work we've done with that, and and we'll see where that takes us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Choi?
Yes, again, yeah, so Town of Stony Plain, we froze our wages for 2020, and we also then reduced our expense budgets, travel and education budgets as well. And again, transferred that back to the general revenue, so that allowed our community to have a little more wiggle room to deal with the pandemic. And in 2021, again, even though we recognize that it's still a difficult year, council made the kind of the motions to increase our staff salaries by 1% in terms of COLA, because we recognize the fact that they're hurting as well. And we made a motion to decrease council's COLA to 0.5%. So again, recognizing the effects of us on the community and us personally as well.
Thank you. Mayor Chagas?
Thanks, Ken. Well, our council did not take a reduction in compensation, but what I will say is our council does recognize that individuals and businesses are struggling, and we've scrutinized and I think been very responsible in the expenditures, and the result is for 2020 our collective budget for council came in at 20% under budget. Thanks.
Thank you. Question number 10, again on COVID-19. The coronavirus pandemic has dramatically changed our lives. Social distancing has become the new normal, and much of our lives are now spent online. What have you learned over the past year from your family, peers, and constituents that fills you with pride and optimism? And I'm going to start this one off with Mayor Chagas.
Thank you. Well, I think the thing that resonated most with me is how the pandemic has brought people together. And there's been I think a very conscious and deliberate effort to assist family, friends, and neighbors. And, I will say during my time in hospital last fall, I gained so much more respect and admiration for our healthcare providers, our healthcare heroes. Every day they were potentially exposed to the virus, and by extension, exposing their families. And that includes not only the doctors and nurses, but the support staff, the cleaning staff, those in food services. I saw people becoming more aware of the foods they ate and about food security and food quality. And that's good news for the people who feed us, our farmers, and good news for the Regional Agriculture Master Plan that's being developed by the Edmonton Metropolitan Region Board. And this can and hopefully will transform the region, enabling us to become a global powerhouse in agriculture and agri-food sectors, one of the focus areas of Edmonton Global. We also became more aware of how reliant we are on broadband, and I think it brought to light the digital divide and the issues and challenges facing students, families, and businesses. And businesses are missing out on opportunities to gain efficiencies and to grow their organization. It's restricting individuals from becoming innovators, and all of this because of poor internet. But I'm optimistic. I think a greater emphasis will be placed on broadband, and more funding will hopefully be made available to ensure that we have a more robust broadband network across the province and across this country. But people in this region, in fact, all Albertans, I would say, are very resilient, and I'm confident that we will persevere. Businesses will survive, and will be stronger and more competitive when we come out of this.
Mayor Choi?
Thanks, Ken. Actually, one of the best things that I've actually learned from this is, even though that we may have to be physically distant, doesn't mean that we need to be emotionally distant. There's a lot of factors that we need to do to keep ourselves safe. But the one biggest thing is that we need to focus on what connects us, what is really important. This little shakeup kind of, gives everybody a chance to pull back and a little reset. In the past, I've seen everybody so focused on, doing things, going to work and run around with their kids. Everything's go, go, go. There was very little time to focus on the family unit. I think over the last year, that has been one of the biggest changes that I've seen around our community, and for myself as well, is the extra time that we're able to take with our families, the ability to stay home, the ability to go for walks together instead of being on the rush from one place to another place, to one meeting to another place. So which is actually a benefit to us. So, one of the biggest things I learned is we need to really focus on what's important to us, and that is our friends, our family, and our community. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you. And Mayor Houston, you get the last answer for the evening.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. And, I look back on last year, and when you look at the challenge that we all faced, I think Mayor Choi spoke to the connectivity we all experienced and being more connected to family members and spending more time at home, playing cards and stuff. I know many times in the evenings, I beat my wife at playing cards many times if she's watching. She knows I love doing that. But at the same token, I think the one that really stood out for me was we had our council and a bunch of people in the community that started the Shop Local campaign. And you know what? We supported those businesses that needed our help. And on the weekends, we put a shout out to businesses to, for people to order in. And one night a week, I think we looked at if every household in Spruce Grove spent $50 once a week, we would generate $650,000 into our local economy to help our businesses. So we pushed that out, and our council did that time and time again. And I know Dave Oldham was a big driver in some of that, and all of our council jumped on board and, with his lead and stuff like that, and me included. And it really turned out well, and I think the businesses appreciated, and there was nothing better than seeing people that were going on and saying, "Hey, I love this dinner from from whichever restaurant they attended." But it was all great, and I think it helped pull us all together. And I think when we start to look at the light at the end of the tunnel, we'll look back on this as a time that our community came together, and I think it's a good news story for us, and knowing that if we support each other, we'll be stronger again together. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's a wrap on our questions. I'd like to say thank you to all three mayors. You've made this a pleasure for me to moderate. I really appreciate that. But I got to be honest with you, as a former mayor myself, I much rather prefer being on this side of the screen, asking the questions, rather than on your side of the screen, having to answer them. But again, thank you for your candid answers. I'd also like to say a shout out to the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce. This last year, I've attended, you would not believe how many virtual events in the past 12 months. And I have to say, this is one of the best produced events that I've participated in the last year. Great questions, great production, and it's just an example of how chambers adapt to the reality and excel at it. So congratulations, Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Alberta Chambers of Commerce and the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce, thank you for taking the time to be here with us this evening. As elected officials, our communities look to you and your council as the governing body. We look to you to consider our welfare, interests, and developing and evaluating policies and programs, and to make collective, sometimes tough decisions on our behalf. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ken. Before I thank you formally, I'd like to thank Cal Mayors for your questions and your answers. What I heard is reconciliation. What I heard is inclusion and diversity, keeping our community safe, creating a vibrant and community business environment. And I really want to say that the Chamber of Commerce was really pleased to step up and in collaboration work on the I Shop Local campaign that Mayor Houston talked about, and working with Mayor Choi on the Mayor's Task Force Recovery Plan. That was a lot of fun. Thank you. and a commitment to fiscal responsibility, leadership with an eye to the future. COVID truly has brought us closer together, and I agree that focus on what connects us. Ken, I'd like to thank you for your great stewardship. And the best part about this is you didn't have to throw anybody off the stage, as you had mentioned a couple times. Truly, I want to say thank you very much on behalf of the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber for leading. I think it's really important that as our civic leaders work together, we work together at the Chamber, not only from a provincial standpoint, but a national standpoint, advocating for what's best for business and what's best for our community. Thank you so much for that, Ken. And now I would like to introduce the video of the evening that takes us on a journey to the town of Stony Plain.
"2020 has come and gone, and what a year it was. While the year had no shortage of challenges, there was plenty of growth, and as a community, we had so much to be proud of." To kick off the year, the final report for the Arts and Culture Facility Plan and Conceptual Design was presented to Council. Later in the year, we finalized the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Action Plan. The plan is our roadmap toward a more inclusive and creative future that supports the arts, culture, and our heritage. We continued working alongside regional partners to develop the Regional Transit Services Commission. The RTSC aims to improve public transit within the region and create a connected transit network to better serve our growing communities. The commission has since been approved and work is now underway. 2020 was a big year for transit. Together with the City of Spruce Grove, we created the Accessible Transportation Service for seniors and people in our communities living with disabilities.
So Accessible Transportation Service is the newly merged service between the town's former Handy Bus service and STS, which was Specialized Transportation in Spruce Grove. And we transport door-to-door seniors and residents with mobility challenges to get them where they need to go to have a great quality of life.
The ATS wasn't the only transit service on the agenda. The town worked on developing our own local transit too. We launched an online survey and hosted a series of pop-up events and open houses for residents to share their thoughts on which bus route will work best for our community. With our route ready to go, we got to work on constructing the bus stops. Come spring 2021, this spot will be one of the many spots for our local buses. In addition to making our community more accessible through public transit, we wanted to make sure there were also options for alternative means of travel. Stony Plain is home to an extensive trail network, 68 kilometers of trails to be exact. Through the active transportation strategy, we gathered feedback from residents on how we can go further and improve sidewalks, trails, and roads in our community. Things are looking good here in Stony Plain. What the? COVID-19? Let's get to work. With the province going into lockdown due to a global health pandemic, a lot of us felt lost, worried, and even a little frustrated. We created the Mayor's Task Force to include 2 streams focused on responding to COVID-19. The social and economic streams of the task force worked to examine how the community was impacted and brainstorm ways to best support our residents and businesses. Between keeping up with public health orders and taking care of our own mental and physical health, things got pretty hectic around here. It hasn't been easy, but our community stayed strong.
One day, we'll be looking back on this and we'll say, aren't you happy that we did it our way? Everyone we knew was saying no way, but we were never listening anyway. So don't be just standing in the doorway. Don't you know we gotta hit the highway? Darling, this is gonna be a good day. And I've gotta say that I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. One day, I'll be looking back on this and I'll say, I'm so happy that you said you would stay. There were times I know that I was crazy, fraying at the edges and you saved me. I'm losing count of chances that you gave me. You're laughing at me dancing really badly and telling me the reasons why you'd gladly do it all again. 'Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing.
Our Stony Plain Together video was a big hit. Within a day, it had over 30,000 views. Since its release, it has reached over 110,000 people on Facebook. The town introduced a utility and property tax deferral program for residents in need of financial support. In total, approximately 350 residents signed up for the utility deferral and almost 700 for the property tax deferral program. Supporting our business community was more important than ever. Local businesses were offered a 50% business license fee rebate to account for the economic downturn, and 98 businesses applied. We also worked alongside the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce to promote our entrepreneurs and encourage local shopping throughout the region.
Just what is it about local business that brings our communities together? Is it the short commute, the comfort of familiarity, the consistency and the ease of routine? Or maybe it's you, the familiar faces, the longtime friends, the good mornings, the take cares, the see you again, the smile after a hard night and early morning. You are the local in local business. You are what drives our communities. Thank you for supporting local.
With gathering restrictions and physical distancing guidelines in place, a lot of our local events were canceled. But with a little creativity, we kept the spirit alive. We adjusted town favorites like Farmers' Days, Summer Sessions, Canada Day, and Light Up to virtual formats to create safe events the community could enjoy from home. It's not quite the same, but we had fun, right? What's a year in Stony Plain without construction? Between Highway 779 and our own downtown redevelopment, it was another year of road closures, orange fences, detours. Let's take a look. Well, good morning. This is Mayor William Choi. I'm here downtown at corner of 51st and 50th, and we're just going to take a look at around, see what's happening on the downtown core through the reconstruction. So let's go take a look. Hey, Ahmed, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Nice.
I like that. Twinsies today, yes.
That's pretty cool. Hey, so Ahmed, you're the project manager for the downtown reconstruction project.
Yes.
Nice that we ran into you, actually. I'm here joined with Matt and the guys. We're just going to take a look at and see what's happening on here. So do you want to give us a little tour?
Sure. I'd be happy to. We've done a lot of work here. We have obviously all the nice finished concrete here with the wood colored patterns. We have the street lit bollard that will increase the pedestrian safety in the area.
Like you mentioned these bollards out here earlier, and they're lit, so it provides a little bit more light in the community, but it's also for safety for residents and pedestrians, and also safety for the business owner.
Exactly. So if you notice, there's always going to be something in front of every vehicle parking stall. So wherever a vehicle would come in, there's either going to be a light pole, a tree, or a bollard, just so that to make sure that nobody comes over the curb. Really just want to increase the pedestrian traffic and the flow here. So to make sure to increase the safety of the pedestrians, we lessened the distance by building the bulb out here that goes into the intersection. Pedestrians basically will get a much less distance to travel across the road, just in case there are vehicles and so on. So we're just trying to increase their safety.
There's something in the middle of the road now, a circle, but we also have stop signs.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about that and how that's all going to work together?
The roundabout is there to ease the flow of traffic. We started this intersection as a four-way stop. We didn't want to give the residents and the drivers here in the area too many changes at once. So we're slowly going to be phasing these stop signs into yield signs. We did all the underground work needed. up to right where Stony Plain Hotel is. So all these black frames are the tree grates where the trees are going to be planted next year. Right under them we have soil cells. It's an underground drainage system that basically takes excess water and it uses that to water the trees, so we're not wasting that.
So with all the things that we need to be doing next year, what's the estimated time frame to just finish off this phase 4 next year?
So the estimated time for this work here is going to take 4 months.
Ahmad, thank you for your time today, and thank you for showing me around what's happening on phase 3 and 4, what's happening. Definitely I had some questions, and same with the residents, so it's good to actually get some answers from the project manager that's doing and taking care of it for the town.
That's it. We just wanted to thank everybody for their patience during the construction. We know construction is never fun. It was just one of those things that we obviously we had to finish.
Thank you very much. I definitely appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Our own Shikawi Park welcomed a new look too. The update was created. Stop! No, cut! That was the wrong photo. Nothing to see here, folks. Now, as I was saying, our own Shikawi Park welcomed a new look too. The update has created a larger open space for users and also introduced plants that are more reflective of a traditional Japanese garden. It also celebrates our 35 years of being a sister community with Shikawi. What was with all the dirt piles at Rotary Park? Construction was completed to improve drainage and promote better grass and tree growth. You may have also noticed a new digital sign welcoming you to town. The sign was built in partnership with the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce. It's a great advertising tool for both the town and our local businesses. Together with Parkland School Division, we were excited to announce the official land swap agreement. With the agreement in place, construction could begin on the replacement school for Stony Plain Central. The new school is anticipated to open in the fall of 2021. St. John's Paul School and Willow Park residents had cause for celebration. The access road, now known as Willow Heights Drive, was completed in the fall. We continue to support sustainability in town through our Don't Just Trash It campaign. This year's focus, electronics.
Excuse me, sir. Smarty Pants here. We have some electronics here to recycle.
You've come to the right place. I'll show you where all your gadgets go. This is where the recyclable electronics are collected. As you can see by the signs on the doors, it helps the visitors sort out what goes where. With Alberta Recycling's new electronics pilot program, there are even more electronics that can be recycled.
Whoa, there's a lot of cool stuff in here.
Hands off the merchandise, Smarty Pants. Once items come into the recycle center, they cannot be taken by other visitors.
Hear that, Grandma and Grandpa? No taking items from the bins.
This year we celebrated the 10th annual Arbor Day. We had to skip the barbecue due to COVID-19, but instead, residents were invited to follow along through our virtual story map to learn more about the importance of tree planting in our community. In October, we launched the Environmental Awareness Survey, inviting residents to share their green ideas. The feedback will be used in the town's new environmental master plan coming soon in 2021. Stony Plain is home to incredible artistic leaders. Throughout the year, we work to showcase the creativity in our community and promote arts and culture. CBC R. Edmonton came to town for a feature on murals in Stony Plain. The tour was aired on TV, hosted on the network's website, and shared in an online article. We became home to new art too. In spring, we launched a graffiti project to engage youth and encourage positive street art at a local skate park.
We're under the tunnel for the train in Stony Plain doing graffiti.
I think absolutely everyone here, they're doing this for the first time. And there's lots of one-on-one instructions, and everybody's kind of doing their own thing so that we are forming that kind of community.
So as part of our culture and tourism strategy, we're here trying to beautify the town and make it more attractive for residents and to visitors that come visit us.
This whole workshop started off with a little bit of a history lesson. We talked a lot about the history and culture of graffiti and street art. The kids to some new school skills and some techniques, and just letting them have some fun.
The annual awards banquet was canceled, but that didn't stop us from shining light on our local businesses. We presented our Award of Creative Excellence to the Stony Plain and Parkland Pioneer Museum Model Train Exhibit and the Ambassador of Action Award to Whimsical Vintage Creations. The town received a few awards too. For the 8th year in a row, administration received the Canadian Financial Reporting Award from the Government of Finance Officers Association. We were also recognized for sustainable development, and we were selected as the 2020 recipient of the AUMA Sustainability in Action Award. With the year drawing to an end, it was time for the annual corporate planning process. After lengthy discussions in council chambers, the 2021-2023 corporate plan was finalized. Council pushed to keep taxes low and settled at 1.71%. Stony Plain remains at the median of the residential tax rate, and our non-residential tax rate is among the lowest of the urban municipalities in the Edmonton metro region. It was a long and challenging year, but by working together, we pulled through and grew closer as a community. Plans have been disrupted, projects postponed, events canceled. But that didn't stop Stony Plain from looking forward and planning for a prosperous future.
Thank you very much, Mayor Choi, and for your video. In closing, it has been a real pleasure and an honor and a privilege to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for this evening. I'd like to thank Sarah Perry and the team over at the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber for your stewardship and your leadership. It really has made a difference in our inaugural year. I also want to thank our mayors. I really appreciate working with you. You have really stepped up, and I want to thank you for your leadership and your stewardship as well. And I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve as a past chair of the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber in our inaugural year for Parkland County. And in the music, Mayor Choi, my good friend Martin Kerr says, in his words and his music that you chose, which I did not know, you're amazing. Everybody, you're amazing. Keep doing amazing things. Thank you very much. And I now would like to pass on the torch to the incoming chair, Mr. Darcy Torium. Darcy.
Thank you, Richard. As the newly elected chair of the Greater Parkland Regional Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank each of you for watching this evening. Yes, this has been a very different event than in person. However, I'm sure you will agree with me that it has been very enjoyable, informative, and an event that is an important one. 2020 was a year like no other, and it made many of us take stock and realize the importance of many things we take for granted. We can see that there are opportunities for us all to work together for the greater good. And I think the respectful relationships between our mayors this evening demonstrates the great and unique region we live and do business in. A regional chamber has been a first step on the journey, and I know that there are many opportunities that would and will benefit from a collective voice and approach. Again, thank you to each of our mayors, Mayor Rod Chagas, Mayor Stuart Houston, and Mayor William Choi, and to Ken Cobley, thank you for your participation and job well done and expertise. And to the outgoing chair, Richard Wong, thank you for your leadership during our inaugural year. This evening really would not have been possible without the support of our platinum sponsor, Thompson Construction Group, as well as our gold sponsors, BDC, Panada Rose Consulting, Studios Incorporated, RPB and Industries Construction Group, and Tirecraft of Stony Plain. Again, thank you all for joining us, and have a great evening. I look forward to next year when we can get together and have a meal and do this in person. Thank you very much.